I have to show you something. I got to be quiet. But back in my little home studio, Kiki has found a little hiding place, and I'm going to try and catch her. So let's walk back to the back of the house. I gotta turn the camera. Well, hello there. Hello there. Kiki has managed to come in here, climb up on this desk, onto the chair, the back of the chair, and into one of these little cubbies that we used to have in our camper. And she just made herself at home. Haven't you? Are you gonna say hello? Hello, little one. Hello. You all cozy in there? You're just saying, I wish you'd just leave me alone. Okay, well, I will. Okay, sorry to disturb you. Okay, I'll quit pestering her. You know what I was thinking? This is just really random. I was just thinking the other day, something just popped into my head, and I suddenly realized that I really miss my piano. I don't think I've ever mentioned on this channel that I play the piano. Used to play in church, used to sing specials and stuff like that. I really miss my piano. It's been years since I played, so I don't know. Just a thought. I don't have one now. I'd probably have to practice quite a bit. I want to show you something. Marina's supposed to be here in less than 2 weeks. You see this photo right here? That is the bay in St. Augustine, Florida. And Marina took that picture. And I took that picture. You can barely see the silhouette of vessels in the bay and the bridge there. It was early morning, and it was fog had set in over the bay. We were on our way to take a cruise, and she took that picture, and I surprised her for Christmas or her birthday or something. Somebody was asking me recently about our icons, and I thought, yeah, I'll tell you about that. So let me turn the camera around and I'll show you what I'm talking about. And then we're going to head outside and I'll show you what's happening with the van. Okay, this is what's called a prayer corner. And this is where we keep icons, and I'll show you some of the things we have. This is what a lot of Orthodox Christians have. We have a prayer book that we use. I have several actually. Here's an Orthodox study Bible. There's a Psalter, which is basically the Psalms. This is some holy water, and there's an icon of the Theotokos. The Theotokos we call, Theotokos simply means a God bearer, which means she who bore God, the bearer of God. Mary, the Theotokos, the God bearer. These are prayer ropes, or they're called chutkis. This is good for discipline in prayer. You say a priest may instruct you to pray a certain number of Lord have mercies, or Lord have mercy on me, Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner, and there's knots on this. And he'll say something like, perhaps pray that 100 times a day. And we use that. Because prayer is good, right? Anyway, most Orthodox Christians have a prayer corner, and at the top in the center is always the cross. That's a beautiful cross with a lot of depictions on it. And then to the right of the cross, our right would be an icon of the Lord. That's called the icon not made by hands. And then always to the left, or to the left of the cross, would be the icon of the Theotokos. This is my favorite. Again, Theotokos is a term that simply means bearer of God or God bearer. Mary bore Christ the Lord, and so we call her the Theotokos, and yes, we do pray to her. Who better to pray for you than the mother of the Lord? This is Saint Timothy. He is my patron saint. Every Orthodox Christian has a patron saint, and mine obviously is Timothy, and you generally bear their name. When you're baptized in the church, you're often given a new name, such as, if you recall in the New Testament, Paul began as Saul, and after his encounter with the Lord, his name was changed from Saul to Paul. And so I already had the name of a saint from birth. Timothy is my birth name, although I wasn't baptized into the church until 1999. So I just kept that name, and he became my patron saint. Timothy was, of course, an apostle, and he was instructed by Saint Paul. And he has a couple of books in a couple of epistles in the New Testament. And then this icon over here is a wonderful saint, and this is Marina's patron saint, and her name is Saint Mary of Egypt. This is one of a beautiful. She has several beautiful icons in the church. Her story is absolutely fascinating. She was just unimaginably given over to debauchery of all kinds. She lived in Egypt, I think oh my goodness, I forget which century she lived in. She lived in Alexandria, Egypt, and she lived a really rough life. But she had just a tremendous conversion experience and was driven out into a desert where she lived as a monastic by herself for the rest of her life. And her story is simply incredible. She's one of the great saints of the church. This is an icon of St. John Maximovich of Shanghai and San Francisco. He recently, well, relatively speaking, he recently reposed in 1966, I believe it was, in the mid-60s. He was a bishop who served not only in Shanghai, but also finally in San Francisco. And he reposed in 1966. Fascinating saint. His body was later exhumed, and he was found to be incorrupt. He had not done what most bodies do after death. He remained incorrupt. His relics that were buried with him were incorrupt, and actually a sweet fragrance arose from his coffin. And that's a fascinating story about, and the church made him a saint, Saint John Maximovich, and he is just a wonderful saint, powerful intercessor. Let's see who this is. This is a guardian angel. I believe that's Michael, if I'm not mistaken. This is an icon of the Nativity of Christ. This is when Mary gave birth to the Lord, and this is an icon depicting that. There's just no shortage of icons. There's just an untold number, and God is great in his saints. So there you go. Okay, let's go outside and take a look at the van. Okay, here's the van, and I am not a builder, of course, but I want to show you, a couple of you have asked me what I'm doing here, and I want to try and show you what I've got in mind. I'm just pretty much doing this myself, but I've been watching countless videos on this, and so I've got some pretty good ideas as to what I want to do. I've already got a bed in here, but what I'm trying to do is build something in sort of a galley style, if that makes sense. So the bed is going to be on one side, and then I want to build a cabinet that's going to be on this side. And I'm going to pause this video and show you an image of what I'm talking about. That's where I got the idea. And so take a look at this picture, and I'll be right back. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm thinking. The trick is there's this wheel well right here that you have to fit this cabinet over. And so that I went looking on the internet for exactly what I was looking for, and that's what I found. So it's basically it's going to extend if it goes as I plan. Let me get up in here and sit on the bed, and we can get a better idea of what I'm talking about. Ooh, it's warm today, actually. And I almost fell off the bed. First day of October. You can see it's already got these boards up on the wall. And what I want to do is extend the cabinet from the rear all the way up to this particular door. There's another door right there, but I can go as far as this door with my cabinet with a similar design of what I just showed you in that picture. What I want is to put like a countertop on top of that cabinet so that I could put, you know, an appliance or two, coffee maker, and maybe a stove of some kind, like a propane or butane stove. And then at either end of the cabinet would be like an open section, and down here I plan to put a sink, hopefully a stainless steel sink, and underneath the sink would be a couple of what they call jerry cans. One would have fresh water and the other would have gray water or dirty water for which you collect when you wash dishes. And then you could get some sort of a little pump that would connect with the sink faucet, so you could have fresh running water, you know, to clean up or do dishes or whatever. And then on this end, there would be another section of the cabinet, an open section here, and that's where I would put, in my plan now anyway, that's where I would put the power station. If you don't know what a power station is, you should look into them, because they can really be helpful if you ever. A power station is basically just a big battery, and it's got outlets in it, you know, regular DC outlets and USB outlets and that sort of thing. And they're good for RV or camper living because it's your power source basically, but they're also good for home use in case your power goes out. I'm looking for one right now. It's made by a company called Bluetti, Bluetti, and the one I'm looking at, I think, is around $450 or so. But what I'm thinking of doing is waiting until like Black Friday, when you get all the big sales, and maybe pull the trigger then. But anyway, if you've got the power station, that will power off grid anything you need, like as far as lights go, laptops, cell phones, fans, anything that needs power, you can run it off of those power stations. And the power stations are rechargeable with a wall outlet, or with you know, if you're at home, you can recharge it that way, or you can recharge it with solar panels, which I don't have, or you could recharge it with a generator, which I also don't have, but I plan to get eventually. But I'm doing this kind of piecemeal. I can't do it all in one fell swoop, but it's a budget build. I'm not doing anything extravagant. I'm not going to insulate the van. A lot of people do that. I'm not going to insulate. I'm not going to run electricity, because I'm going to use the power station. And as far as lights go, Marina bought these little lights right there they're rechargeable, and these are fantastic. You can just use those for lights, and you can stick them everywhere, anywhere you want, and you'll have plenty of light. And you can, as I say, you can recharge them. Now, the material that I'm going to use to build this particular cabinet, by the way, on top, above the countertop, I plan to build or install a shelf, and then maybe some little cubbies or whatever for storage for like kitchen type items or utility type items. And then I would like to build another shelf here above the bed with another series of containers or cubbies of some kind, you know, for clothing and anything else that you need to store. And I've still got a lot of room back behind the bed at the foot of the bed for additional storage. So this is really plenty of space, at least for one person. We both couldn't do this, I don't think. But, you know, I've got a plan in case Marina's able to go with me somewhere. Now, the material that you saw in that picture, I believe is some sort of aluminum material, but I'm not going with aluminum. I'm going to go, I bought these 2x2s at Home Depot yesterday, actually. They're bundled together right now, but that is a package of 9 2x2s, and that's going to be the framing of the cabinet. I got a buddy with a circular saw that's going to help me get them cut. And then in here, I've got some sandpaper, and I've got some wood glue, and I've got some wood screws, and I've got these little corner braces to hold it all together. And then, of course, I've got the wood in the van already to secure it down as well. I do plan on putting a floor in the van at some point, and I'm going to do that with half-inch foam board. And on top of the half-inch foam board, I'm going to put a 3/4-inch sheet of plywood. And then on top of the plywood, I'm going to put some sort of laminate. And the laminate will, you know, some sort of a faux hardwood floor that I think should look pretty good. On top of the cabinet I want to build, I think I said there's going to be, I plan on putting like a countertop of some kind of maybe butcher block or something like that. So this would basically be my kitchen that I'm looking at now that I showed you earlier, to have a coffee pot, maybe another Ninja air fryer, and then a sink at one end to clean up. That's pretty much it. And then you'd have like assorted hooks and things of that nature where you could hang various things. But there's actually plenty of space. This would be not hard to do for one person. It would be tough for a couple. But for one person, it would be fine. And if we go camping, if Marina's able to go with me, I've still got a spare trailer that I could throw another bed into if need be. So I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But anyway, that's it. I hope maybe by this weekend, I'm back at work now, I'm hopeful by this weekend maybe I can start getting this wood sanded and cut, and maybe start putting it together. And I'll keep you posted. We'll see how it goes. Thanks for watching.